download. All right, we're going live. And I hope everybody is doing well today. I've been chilling with our Substack family. Shout out to everybody on Instagram, Facebook. What's popping? We are going to talk about activist burnout. I think it's something that's really important. It's part of my journey. It's part of my shift as a mindfulness liberation teacher with other subspecialties. And I want to talk about it. Thank you for being here today. It's the cost of activist burnout. I want to let my life be a living example of what happens when you do too much in liberation work. So we all know what happened in 2020. George Floyd's life was taken with a knee to the neck. At the moment that George Floyd was murdered, the account that I used to have, put my glasses on, see how cool I look. Wow, this is cute. Hey, Val. The account that I used to have, Check Your Privilege, just kind of started blowing up, and it blew up for years. I think we were almost at 1 million followers, but we lost a lot of followers, and that's okay. We also lost the whole damn account. Instagram took that account out. I know why, so I'm not going to do anything but just make content about it. I don't want to get into it's the algorithm, it's this, it's that. It just is what it is. Because I'm looking at the screen, I'm putting on my readers. And so I wanted to talk today about the cost of activist burnout, what that means, and Instagram took that account out. I know why, there. So I'm not going to do anything but just. So now I'm echoing in another window, and that's okay. So how do we start? George Floyd was murdered. My account blew up. Every day I worked, from the day George Floyd was murdered until the election of last year. So I pushed through. I worked every day. Times when I thought I was taking times off, I was still on my phone responding to comments, showing up. It moved into panic attacks for me. It then moved into a diagnosis of Hashimoto's. It then moved into high blood pressure, where my doctor, who's in Mexico, said to me, Maisha, you need to find a new career or this is going to kill you. This was in 2023. That same year in 2023, I went and I participated in an event. And after that event, I went to LA. And guess what happened in LA? I was in the hospital. January 2023, I was in the hospital. And so there are pictures of me on my phone where I'm not smiling. I'm just looking stressed out, burnt out, in and out of emergency rooms, given anxiety medication because they said it was my anxiety. They said it was everything else except health. Then I got COVID, October of last year. But the COVID lasted long. I have a whole log of 30 days of my symptoms, and it was long COVID. I had to find a long COVID specialist I couldn't breathe. It was just a lot, and I kept trying to work. My life had also started to pivot as well, and I just couldn't do anything. So I started watching videos on nutrition and science and stress and the gut-brain connection, and I was like, activism is going to kill me. And what inspired me to stick with taking care of myself and putting myself as the priority was when Alice Walker talked about her own health. And then I started thinking about other Black women who were liberation teachers who have passed away because of health complications. Like Bell Hooks had issues with her kidneys. Fannie Lou Hamer had issues with her lower half of her body. Like a lot of Black women who led liberation spaces died because of health complications. And also they died not leaving a legacy behind for their family, so they died poor. One of the things that I am committed to are two things. Knowing that my work is a legacy for my children, but my children do not have to do the work that I did. I don't want them to have to do this. They don't want to do it, and I am grateful for that. So leaving something behind for them so that they can be what they are now, which are Black children with access to privilege when possible, right? And who have the ability to unschool and not be in the environments that are making all of our children sick and in fear. So I want to name that on my journey of 5 years, I've been sick, chronically ill, disabled, chronically ill, disabled, all of the different labels, neurodivergent, all of that, and still trying to show up for the collective, putting everybody else before myself and being sick and no one caring. I knew that once the check your privilege account went away and there was not a lot of, I don't like that glare. And I was trying to get support to help me bring it back, and there was no one there. I said, okay, this is it. Now, I don't give up on it. I'll keep trying. But that was just my sign. I'm not going to keep fighting for things that are going to make me sick. So, how can I be in liberation work and not of it? How can I prioritize my mental health and wellness? What does that look like, prioritizing your mental health and wellness? First things first, sometimes you got to get real selfish. And that's hard because for people on this journey, you are told, decenter yourself. There is a difference between divesting and decentering imperialist, capitalist, white supremacist, ableist patriarchy and centering yourself. It doesn't actually, like, as I think about it now, like me telling someone to decenter themselves, but calling this a healing journey, I don't know if that really works hand in hand. Because if I believe that this work is healing work, when you are on a healing journey, you are the center of the journey. And not everybody can come with you. It is literally your, like Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. And the sources and the people show up as you take the steps. And so I really want you all to know that activist burnout is that emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion when we become overwhelmed or disillusioned by what's happening. And it is the prolonged work that we're doing. This is why at protests that I were a part of, this is why we had space for music and movement and spiritualists and spiritual work, because we knew that the work required the whole body to move it through. We knew that we would have to take time and take teams because you can't put yourself out there like that. We're not doing that anymore because we're also being attacked by our government through the media. Noam Chomsky's propaganda model will explain to you how we are all fed information all day and we are all consumers of what's been given to us. So activist burnout is part of the set of conditions created for us to stay engaged in liberation work. And I just can't. I love everybody. I have 3 children who I don't want them to see me in a hospital bed again. I don't want them to have to worry if I can walk up and down the stairs. I'd never want to hear my children ask me if I'm dying again. There comes a point on your journey where your burnout is not worth your life. And I know this is a countercultural message, but it's an important message. We have to stop giving from what we don't have. We are giving from scarcity of health and emotional and mental well-being. And this is why we are seeing what we're seeing play out on social media in the liberation space. I cannot tell who MAGA is from who so-called social justice people are, and that's scary. Hey, Rachel, I can't tell the difference because the reality is everyone sounds alike. Everyone's saying the same thing. Everyone's centering the same positions around politicians. And the moment that we as a collective start working on ourselves and our interpersonal relationships, we will have the energy to think about shifting these politicians. This broken system that's fallen apart is falling apart on our own, and we are fighting for it. Or I'm not. Y'all are fighting for it, fighting each other for it, that it has spilled over into the liberation space. And now everybody's got rules, everyone's got hierarchy, and everyone's being told what to do. I opt out. And the reason why this is happening is because everyone doesn't realize you're burnt out. You've been doing this specifically, like let's say your class of 2020. You've been doing this for 5 years. You have multiple people with multiple perspectives telling you how to do it and what to do. There is no recipe for liberation work. And you have to start with yourself. It's not go to the bias workshop and not learn how to be unbiased. No, it's go to the healing codependency workshop. And the first thing you should do, because all of us are raised in this cult of oppression, the first thing we all should be doing is healing our relationship with codependency, rugged individualism, and people pleasing. That's why we keep falling into the trap in liberation spaces and creating rules that don't even exist because who said that they were rules? The only thing that I know that is true in this work is that you have to center Black and Indigenous people of culture. Because unlike our counterparts, we know how to survive this. That's why for me, people are like, are you good? I'm great. I'm fine. I'm doing all right. And people are like, are you serious? Absolutely. Because I'm not going to burn out. I know what's happening and know I can be in and out of it. I know I can give donations to causes in other countries, and I can light a candle to let go of control. Burning a candle is the best letting go practice for me. Everyone has to find their own. But I am not going to be fighting with y'all on these internet streets to prove that I'm right. Like we got this all messed up. And it's all because everyone's burnt out. Y'all been fighting a system that's functioning the way it wants to function. I'd be tired too. It almost killed me. I have family who's gotten long COVID. Long COVID is taking people out. People who've had COVID, you get COVID multiple times, you can get long COVID, and then you have to choose. So how can you do this work where it's integrated, where you're not burning out, where you're present? I call it niching down your journey. It's a workbook I made in 2020 because I saw this coming. I saw everyone burned out. What do? They're like they're 90-day sprints of how to engage in this work. And practice of self-care is important because activist burnout is real. I'm surprised that y'all's gateways aren't burning from everything you hear, everything you see. I want to tell you something. Like there's times where my family comes in and I'm just sitting here in this area, and they're like, and that there's no phone in my hand, and I'm just sitting there like, you okay? And it's like I'm learning to feel again. I'm learning my body again. I'm learning to sense what's around me again because the TV is off. There's no news. There's no scrolling. There's nothing around me. So I have to sit with myself and I have senses again. My critical thinking is coming back. I'm not reacting anymore. I'm just able to hear breaking news, wait 48 hours, pull my sources together and be like, oh, okay. Because I choose not to operate from burnout. What will you choose? Will you continue to burn out or will you choose a different way? Because if not, you're doing exactly what they want us to do. We claim we want liberation, and yet we're fighting with each other because we don't believe what we believe. We've lost our ability to relate even as human beings. Because, like I said yesterday, and this is still sitting with me today and this morning, if you had a serious disease and the only person that your insurance approved in your area, you had no car and they believed a totally different belief system, but they had the cure to make you well, to help you get well, you mean to tell me you're not going to go to them because they have a different belief system? And some of you might be listening and being like, well, that's over the top. No, it's not over the top. I'm literally letting you all know we're going to need each other in 2 years. And we're going to need each other in a way where all of this, well, you're not this and you're not that and you're not saying this and you're all of this. If this then that, let me tell y'all, the if this then that comes from the ABA, behavior modification for children with autism. And I remember having to learn the strategies of first this, then this, if this, then that. Man, But if you were on your deathbed and the only person who offered and had the ability to help you survive had a different belief system, you meaning that you would die than rather get people's help? I think that's a lie from the pits of Satan. That is not true. I've heard people, I'd rather die than get your help. Okay, but you're a mom with kids and you have a husband, and you're telling me you're going to die because you don't want help from someone who doesn't believe what you believe, has a different belief system. You just rather die. That's what I'm saying. We're not even human anymore. I think we're taking in information, we're regurgitating in it with it because we're cut off from the neck down. We are just all in our heads all day. We can't just like there's so much richness to this work. It's not just about being an activist. It's about what does it mean to be human? It's about what does it mean to pursue joy? What does it mean to create? What does it mean to find art, right? The people who are probably the happiest during moments of revolution have been the creators, the dreamers, the dancers, the joy makers, because they're like, this is all we have. Like I was just in the car with my family and we had went on an outing and we turned on some banda music, and the music just makes you move and it just makes you smile and it kind of takes whatever's on your mind away and it just brings you back to presence. That is the call of liberation. It is not all of this doing too much till you burn out and almost die like I did. It's not all this going back and forth with people on the internet. It's what are the small things I can do in my everyday life to feel liberated and to support liberating the collective, because it's the individual and the collective. It's not just the collective liberation. Collective liberation is it's a breeding ground for codependency. But what does individual and collective, what do I like? What do I want to create? What joy do I want to bring in my life while I'm also seeing all of this pain in the world? What can I offer? How can I hold space? How can I hold presence for myself and the collective? It is not selfish. In fact, Audre Lorde said, caring for myself is not an indulgence. It's an act of self-care or political. I can't remember, but we'll find that quote. But like, we're not dreaming. We're not creating. We are literally, well, I can't complain because I'm doing a no complaint challenge, by the way, this bracelet. I haven't complained in 4 days. Ooh, ooh, the goal is 21 days. Um, you have to have a mix of everything. It has to be individual and collective. Caring for yourself is essential. You cannot just be on the internet all day, yelling in the echo chamber, screaming in the void for people who believe what you believe to agree with you. There's so much more to this. So, how do we all reclaim social media? Because the thing that's happening now is everyone knows that we're about to become a surveillance state. So, what do? What is your Underground Railroad? Shout out to Harriet Tubman. How do you do this work underground? Don't know because everyone's too burnt out to think about that. I'm gonna give you all a tip. You want to pursue joy and want to have fun with liberation? Watch as many movies as you can, from Fahrenheit 451 to The Matrix. What other movie came up for me today? The Bourne Identity, Mission Impossible, spy movies, sci-fi movies. Spy movies and sci-fi movies will give us kind of an answer of how to survive. Like there is an episode of Black Mirror, the first season. You watch the whole first season of Black Mirror and be like, what? Because they're telling us their vision, and the vision is coming to life in real time. Like there was that first season of Black Mirror, there was this show, I can't think of it, where you had social scoring. They have social scoring in China. They're starting to have it here. There's facial recognition software in suburbs in California that I don't know if anyone paid attention to it when they announced it, but there is a suburb in California that they said that their visitors bureau decided to use facial recognition software to gather data on where people are from. Yeah. We don't have time to be fighting each other and burning out. We can't keep burning out in the movement. We have deeper fish to fry. The conversations that I'm having in the collective with collective members, one on one or in some small groups, is really like, okay, what's our Underground Railroad? What platforms do we need to be on? What platforms don't? And how do we exist on these platforms? What do we talk about? That's why I'm a somatic, mindful liberation teacher, writer with other subspecialties. How will you be in it and not of it? Will you be a yoga teacher? I'm talking in code, but you might not know that I'm talking in code unless you were in community with me. Because the next 3 years, someone like me, I have to shift everything. Have to have a whole new identity. I have to be a Harriet Tubman of this generation, where I have to just be in action. And if you're part of the group, you know, and if you're not, you would probably just think like, hey, I got you where I am. I just moved different. But when you're burnt out, you can't see it. When you are burnt out, you cannot see it. You can't see how to be in it and not of it because you're only fighting for causes and burning yourself out. I see someone on Instagram says it sounds like Palestine. I don't know what it sounds like. I appreciate your perspective. I guess for you, it sounds like Palestine. I'm not sure. And I have to say, I'm not sure to protect myself because, like myself and others that look like me, when we say things, we are essentially attacked for disagreeing, agreeing, etc. So I'm not going to put myself in a position to talk about certain things anymore. But for you, it sounds like Palestine. I totally understand. It's the way I show up is going to be very confusing to a lot of people. One, I can't burn out. Two, I hope you don't burn out. And three, it's time to make our own digital. It's time to make our own underground railroads. And yet we still have to show up on these platforms. For me, I still have to show up for those who are still on the platforms. Period. You still have to show up. But I'm not going to show up if I'm burnt out. I mean, I probably should be burnt out. I think I've been live for like a week. You know what I mean? We've been doing 2 lives for almost 2 weeks. They've been fun for me because in between, then I can clean my house, spend time with my family, do a coaching call, school with my kids, read a book. Because again, I have to be in it and not of it. Thank you, Kathy. That means a lot coming from you. I got to be in it and not of it. And this live is really about me letting you all know you're burnt out, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. The infighting, me not being able to tell who's MAGA and who's not because it looks the same. We putting so much hope in these politicians trying to tear down a system that's functioning the way it's supposed to be and that's burning, that when you have Black liberation teachers saying, hey, we have the solution, come on board, you won't even invest because your need as people in white bodies to be centered and be right and be the leaders. It's the same thing, constant colonization, colonizing somebody's thoughts, colonizing somebody's beliefs, positioning yourselves as experts. Haven't we understood this long? This right now should be the example. I'm actually about to book a new coaching client because he said it was a male. I'm actually looking for more white men who want to do the work. I need some one-on-one clients. He was like, you seem so joyful and cheerful. How are you surviving? And I'm like, this is in my body. It's ancestral. I know how to survive Jim Crow. I know how to survive civil rights. I know how to survive, right? I know what this moment is like. People in white bodies have had privilege and rights, and now they're being taken away. So what happens is you power code and you hold on to the little bit that you can control, knowing that you really can't control anything, but you hold on to the little bit of privilege that you have left. And this is why I tell people in white bodies, when you center Black and Indigenous folk on your journey, and you not lead, but you follow behind that, you will find your healing. And when I say center, I don't mean make them your cult leaders and put all your belief in them. I'm not telling you to codepend, but if you want to go to a workshop on some stuff, I highly recommend you go to the source that knows survival, the source that has strategy, the source that can just, if it chooses, be available to give you that information. But that can't happen when you're burnt out and you're tired and you're fighting the system versus being present with yourself. How long will you keep fighting this system that's functioning the way it wants to function? It's not about just the system, it's your individual work and collective liberation. You can't liberate a system that's functioning the way it's supposed to. Kathy says here on Instagram, too many body folks don't want healing, they want power. Absolutely. Kathy, that is absolutely what it is. You don't want liberation, you want power. And when you can't have power, you need someone to flagellate you into action. That is the unconscious kink of white feminism specifically. There is an unconscious kink within white feminism that if I don't show up like this, I gotta change my demeanor. Hold on. White women, you're trash. Get your shit together. If you want me to help you get your shit together, come to my workshop and I'm gonna give you 15 steps to get your shit together. Versus this. What I'm noticing within white women is the tendency to say they want liberation, say they want relationships, and cower at the sign of moving towards those. Do y'all see what I just did? Like I literally just did flip the script. And if you are watching this and you are a person in white body, you felt activated when I said you were trash. You were this. That's just not who I am. I'm not going to flagellate you emotionally because of your relationship with unconscious. It is unconscious kink. It is self-flagellation. Flagellation is a part of BDSM. I have a framework I've been working on around emotional BDSM and how white body folks, specifically people born women at birth, because of their relationship with patriarchy, there is flagellation. And without the flagellation, you will not make a move. You will stay stuck. There is something that being talked at versus talked to or spoken with. And for, I don't know if it's the angry Black woman stereotype, but there is something about talking at white women versus talking with white women. And I don't have this problem with white men or men of culture, but I specifically have this problem with white women. Very interesting. And so, all that to say, because that's a totally different live, I need you all to really check and see if you're burnt out. You know you're burnt out when you are like reacting all the time to anything on social media. You know you're burnt out when your kid's right there trying to play with you, but you're still going like this. Oh, just a second. Oh, one more second. I've done that. I'm guilty of that too. I was working and my kids were doing this the whole time. I'm live right now. What do you think they're doing? You know what I'm saying? You know you're burnt out when you got the TV on, you got 15 pages on your laptop, you got something cooking on your stove and you're trying to stay glued in and you're looking at the TV and you're looking in you're multitasking, but you're multitasking because you don't want to drop into your body and hold presence. You're burnt out. You don't want to drop into your bodies and hold presence. You're just like, I can't look away. Black women told me, Black women told me. Like, and then every time I say the opposite of what Black women told you, you're telling me what Black women told you. And I'm just sitting here like, y'all are burnt out. That's why I don't react to anyone anymore. I can't react to white women. I can't react to white, because I know y'all are burnt out. I know while you're crashed out and burnt out. You're crashed out trying to hold on to the little bit that you got, and you're burnt out because you're trying to do too much. But no one wants to think about this work from the mental health perspective. There's even therapists that are telling you, but this is it. This is all I have left in me to tell you. You know what I mean? Niche down your journey so that you can listen to hear and not to correct. You can seek connection and not conflict. You know you burnt out because any and every little thing on the internet pisses you off. You're reacting to a stranger on the internet. But this is what the times are calling for right now. You know you can opt out. You don't have to react anymore. You don't have to be busy. And yes, Jess, thank you. Jess says on Instagram that busyness is a sign of avoidance. There's so many lessons that we're all avoiding, and that is why we're busy. Thank you for pointing that out. You're busy and burnt out. Busy and burnt out. That is not a sexy combination. How can you be busy and burnt out? What can you do differently? My own solution has been my solution since 2020 is to niche down your journey, take 90-day sprints. You can get that journal. The journal is a digital download. It's in our link in bio. There's an article about it too on Substack called Niching Down Your Journey. You can check out the article. It lays it out for you. But you got to niche down because we ain't seen nothing yet, baby. If we think this administration is doing anything, let me tell y'all something. We ain't seen nothing yet. And this is ancestral. You ain't seen nothing yet. And a lot of you don't know how to survive the next 5 years. Ooh, 5, Jesus. Hopefully not. Ooh. Whoa. A lot of us won't know how to survive what's coming. Now's the time to we got to take our groups offline. We got to go in pairs and go to shooting ranges, to classes, to like I've been giving lists on the last 2 lives because we are not prepared for what's coming. Let me tell you something. Let me just do the list again. I would get 5 copies of your birth certificates for every member of your family. 5. I would get copies of the not social security card, your birth certificate. You're an American citizen, get it. If you're an immigrant, get it. I would get everyone in your household a real ID, even if it's a child. If you have a passport, make sure you have everyone's passport cards. Make sure your passports are up to date. Because in 3 years, if all of our streets are filled with the military and it's show me your papers to enter your households, you want to be ready. You want to be ready. You want to have your emergency kits ready. You want to take a CB radio class. Like these are things that we talk about in our collective, and I'm not trying to share anybody, but there are class citizens bands radio. You can get a CB operation training. Do the informal learning and training in radio operations, understanding radio service and radio equipment. You do not need a license for CB radio. There's a class D. Oh no, you don't need a license. And the emergency channel is 9. So these are things that we have to start preparing for. We haven't seen nothing yet. We haven't. Get your candles. Start putting water up. Start putting up rice. Start putting up beans. Get your solar panels. We are not prepared for what's to come because they are already showing us. We know that they don't care. It is time to put that in action. I'm going to look at my calendar. Next week, we're doing Open for All White Bodies for Action, which is our for collective impact, which is our mutual aid gathering. And then we're going to do Rooted and Ready. We're going to make our emergency kits together. Now is the time. You can't be ready. You can't be getting ready either if you're burnt out. A lot of you all are burnt out. And this is a burnout that's going to require more than just logging out for a weekend. This is a burnout that's going to require you all to really slow down, right? Join us next month for the next social media detox. This group right now that's actually detoxing, everyone's doing amazing. They're questioning themselves, they're questioning their mental health, but they're in a community off of the internet on an app, but it's Signal, whatever. Everyone is finding their way forward and they've been in it for 17 days. You know what I'm saying? You can't, if you're busy and burnt out, you can't prepare for what's coming. We have not seen nothing yet. So that's all the messages that they're giving me. Y'all haven't seen nothing yet, so start getting ready. And this is a message to myself too. Find a CB radio. Find a CB radio class if you can. Get your birth certificates, your passports, your ID cards. Get your emergency go bags ready, flashlights. I'm trying to see, we have a free download of what to put in your emergency kit. Maybe I can screen share it. Let me pull it up. Yeah, I want to see it. But remember, you can't be busy and burnt out. You can't. You can only start preparing when you're no longer busy and burnt out. So let me pull this up. I'm going to screen share for people. If you're on YouTube, which is Heal Your Way Forward on YouTube, you might be able to see this live in this document I'm going to share. So yeah, we used to have it in the link. It was a co-conspirator readiness doc. And it gives you, I'm going to make it available again, actually, so that after this live, you can hear me. You'll see emergency preparedness document and you'll be like, oh, okay, this is what Maisha is talking about. I haven't gone live in so long that I'm like, oh, what do I do when I go live? So bear with me. So I'm telling you to get ready. But if you're burnt out, if you are burnt out and busy, you can't prepare. I need you all to understand there's a connection between being prepared for what's coming and being burnt out and busy. So I'm going to go through the list. And if you're in Substack, I'll post a list as an article for subscribers. Subscribers, I'll give you this list. All right. So anyone can have it, but I'll post it there. All right. So can y'all see? All right. So your readiness. Let me go to it. Where did it go? Okay. Where is it? So the first thing is to try to learn protective and life-saving skills. Take a self-defense class, martial arts, Krav Maga, women's self-defense. 2, you can enroll in the Stop the Bleed course. Stop the Bleed course is free to do online, and to get the full certificate, you can actually go to like a local hospital. I just pulled it up on my screen. This is the website, stopthebleed.org. Learn how to stop a bleed. You never know when something happens, you can stop a bleed. The other pieces are get CPR first aid training. Some local fire departments and hospitals and community centers offer free or low-cost training, and explore fire safety training. If you're like me and you live in an open carry state, I want to highly recommend you openly carry. All right. We're not prepared for what's coming. Build everyday resilience. So make your emergency kit, a gallon of water for a person a day for up to 3 days. Non-perishable food, up to 3-day supply, flashlights, batteries, solar chargers, first aid kits, have at least 3 months of meds if you can. Important copies of your documents, hard copies, laminated, in a folder. Hygiene supplies and menstrual products, extra clothes, hiking shoes. If you don't have hiking shoes, REI. I am not sponsored by REI. I just love REI. I get a lot of stuff there. They have their like previously used merchandise. You can get some of that from their eBay. Grab you some hiking boots, a whistle, mask, a multi-tool. You need cash. You can learn a basic sewing class, gardening, food preservation. Take a navigation class or a like land orientation class. You want to connect to community resources. You can partner with your local Boy or Girl Scouts leader, and they can actually teach civilians survival and life skills. So we have a Scout Master in our collective, and he's showing us how to make a stew in a Dutch oven. How dope is that, right? These are some of the activities we do in our collective. You can join a community emergency response team program. So I got a certification this year from CCRT. I have to look it up. I am certified to respond to emergency situations in my state if something goes down. So you can take that class. They're usually free, and you can usually find them through your local chapter of NAMI, the National Association of Mental Illness. You can take a mental health first aid class so you can learn how to support people with mental health. You can become a peer support person for folks struggling with alcoholism and recovery of mental health. Engage in local mutual aid networks. Support justice movements, the ACLU, Immigration Resource Center. Invest in Black labor and care work. So resource Black led mutual aid funds, and redistribute your labor, wealth, and access. Practice inner and collective readiness. So practice radical self-compassion, which is something that someone asked me to teach. I'll do that in November. And engage in listening to support before censoring yourself. So this little sheet has different tips. It tells you can take our upcoming direct compassion and communication class. It takes you to our direct compassion and communication website. It gives you our upcoming practice sessions as well. And you can download the Niche Down Your Journey journal. It shows you it's just 90 days for you to live into the work. It also tells you can do the 3K and 30-day campaign. Grab your copy of Heal Your Way Forward, available directly from Maisha T. Hill with a bracelet. And guess what? I'm adding a candle. Pretty soon it'll turn into a box because my mind is getting really, really big with this, and probably a shirt. We'll see. But go ahead and support the campaign now. Each book purchase supports the mission of getting the books in the hands of those who need it, and in universities, educations, and people who want a physical book but actually can't afford it. Because I give books away all the time. I just don't. I come from a different generation. It's hard. It's hard to be in the generation I'm from and like talk about the things that I do offline. I'm trying to get better at it, but yeah. So that's just the list that we have. I'll put it back in the link in the bio, and then I'll put it as a post to Substack subscribers. You'll get that whole list, so it'll come in your email. But that's it. But we're not prepared for what's coming because we're burnt out. And I just want you to know that if we can't pull ourselves together as individuals, we are no good for individual or collective liberation. I mean, you really can't give what you don't have. And a lot of us are giving from a space of scarcity and not abundance, because after you do something, if you're finding yourself frustrated or overwhelmed, or I can't think of the word, like angry after you like support something or someone, it means you're burnt out. Like if you just sat and listened to someone like talk about what they were going through, and then you just were like angry that you said, I just wasted so much of my time. I woulda, coulda. That's a sign that you're burnt out. That's a sign to take back and start to scale back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post, I'm going to update the link so you guys can opt into getting that spreadsheet. I'm going to put it also on Substack. Any questions or reflections? I've been talking a long time. Questions, reflections, or aha moments? Anybody in Substack? No? Okay. We got, Jess asked, sorry, I missed your question, Jess. Can you elaborate on why we should have copies of things? So say the power goes out and you need evidence that you have autism spectrum disorder. How are you going to give a copy if it's all electronic? If you have a Naima, can you take him to the bathroom? Thank you. If you have something medical and you only keep it in the cloud and the internet goes out and you don't have enough battery in your cell phone, having a hard copy of all your medical diagnoses, any prescriptions that you take, hard copies matter if there's an emergency and all the power goes out. That's why you should have hard copies of everything. So as I give this advice, I'm taking notes for myself too of things that I need to do. And if it's helpful, I'm happy to, on my personal account, not on Heal Your Way Forward, I often talk about where I am on my journey and what I'm doing. So just let me know. All right. Not the typical live, but just want to just say I'm watching everybody move from burnout, and I have so much compassion and love for each and every one of you. And I don't really know you like that, but I really do, because it makes me really sad. So take care of your heart, friends. I'm going to check out because I can tell my little blood pressure is up. I don't know what happened. I'm about to go take a bath and go to bed. I love y'all. Thanks for being here today. And stick around as I update my live schedule. If this was helpful for you, you can always Again, I think I'm going to update the links again, but you are always welcome to Venmo. Get something off it is an Amazon wish list. Whatever. I had to get over it because I have to use Amazon with long COVID to get certain things because I couldn't leave my house for a long time. But I do have wish lists. And if not, just keep tuning in. Much love to all of you. Many blessings. I hope you have a great night with your family and loved ones. And peace out. And see you all when I see you. Thank you all.